Take a look at day 4, a review of day 2 and 3. So the first thing we have to do is solve these rational equations here. So we're going to bust our fraction. So we'll write x minus 2, and then we have to distribute it. So this one, so we have x times x minus 2, but here it's in our denominator, so it would reduce down to 1. So we have plus 2 equals 2 times x minus 2. And then our x minus 2's would reduce out again, so we have plus 2. And now we can distribute. X squared minus 2x plus 2 equals 2x minus 4 plus 2. Combine like terms over here. We have 2x minus 2, x squared minus 2x plus 2. It's a quadratic, so we'll set it equal to 0. So now we have x squared minus 4x plus 4 equals 0. We can do our box and circle to solve this quadratic. So it multiplies to 4 and adds to negative 4. So we have negative 2 and negative 2. So this one factors into xx minus 2 minus 2. So we end up with x equaling 2. But when we take a look here, when we check that answer, 2 plus 2 over 2 minus 2. Well, we can't have 0 in the denominator, so this is what we call an extraneous solution. It doesn't work, so there really are no answers here. Now the second one here, let's see, our denominator is a. So when we multiply that into everything, a times a is a squared, minus 5, the a's would reduce down to 1, equals 4a. It's a quadratic, so we set it equal to 0. So we have a squared minus 4a minus 5 equals 0. And some of you are able to see this without the box and circle. If you need to do the box and circle, pause the video at this time. But those of you that can see it without, we'd have a minus 5 and a plus 1 equals 0. So we have a equals 5 and a equals negative 1. And we can check those here, and it looks like, oops, where'd it go? Looks like everything should work because we can have a 5 in our denominator and a negative 1. So our next one here, let's see, we have b plus 5 as a factor and b minus 3. So when we multiply it to this first one, our b plus 5 would reduce out to 1, so we're left with 9 times b minus 3. The second one, we won't have the b minus 3, so we have 3 times b plus 5. Multiply this out, we have 9b minus 27, 3b plus 15. And now we need to solve it. So subtract our 3b. So we have 6b minus 27 equals 15. Add 27. 6b equals 42, so b equals 7. Double check that. Yep, we can have that because we don't end up with a 0 in our denominator. And now we'll take a look at these bottom two. So number 4, one thing I noticed is we can factor this into x times x minus 4. So now, let's see, we have our terms x and x minus 4. Multiply it in, so this term we wouldn't have the x, but we'd have x plus 4 times x minus 4. Plus 3, we wouldn't have the x minus 4, so we just have the x equals, we won't have those two, so just negative 16. Now we can solve this, so we have to multiply it out. X squared minus 4x plus 4x minus 16 plus 3x equals negative 16. So 4 and 4, so we have x squared plus 3x minus 16 equals negative 16. Add the 16, set it equal to 0 since it's a quadratic. X squared plus 3x equals 0. Well, we can factor out an x, so we have x times x plus 3 equals 0. So in this case, either our x equals 0 or x plus 3 equals 0. So x would equal -3. But when we look back at our problem,